At Abantu, a cafe and craft shop near Cambridge, Wendy shared with me her passions for fair trade and ethical business.
Although Abantu is not going to change the world or change Africa, it might just make a slight difference, and if we all made that difference, it would make a huge impact.
She also gave me her most treasured item, a photograph of the children of the woman in Africa she helps by providing sustainable business. I took the photo and a short film I made about Wendy to Karachi in Pakistan and shared it with Sarah Faruqui to see if there was any common ground.
My mother, that's Noorjehan Bilgrami, she is actually an artist herself. She got into this business in a very strange way because my father, who's an architect, approached her to help him with an interior design of some project that he was working on, and she started to visit these remote areas for block printing, for hand block printing, to come up with things for the interior of the project, and that's how she started off with the block printing. So that was a dying art. It used to exist before, and it had started to really peter down, the hand block printing, and it was only found in certain areas of the city, very old parts of the city, and basically unknown. She started off with that and would go and give them designs and for clothes and all. In her friend's garage, she set up 2 tables and had 2 men come in and do some work. And her friends would give her orders for saris and for again suits and tablecloths, and it just took on from there. Then she came up with a larger workshop and all, and we did hand embroidery as well, and machine embroidery as well. This carried on for many years, and she had a lot of exhibitions, had a lot of fashion shows in different places. I think it's about 15 years ago she went into natural dyes, into hand-woven natural dyed fabric. Another area where she has worked in is ajrak, which is a traditional type of block printing which is done in Sindh. Again, a dying craft. It was being done in India and is still being done there and here, but now done by screen printing and done with using chemical dyes. So she went back to the past, researched it. She's written a book on it. She's got a documentary on it. She's done a documentary on it as well, on ajrak, and it's like a heritage. It's like part of our heritage, this cloth, the ajrak cloth, because it's said to be worn by the king priest of the Mohenjo-daro times. When in Mohenjo-daro, when excavations were taking place, there were these figurines and all were found. They were found to have the pattern, the same sort of patterns that are there, which are existing on the traditional cloth, and it's a very important part of the culture of Sindh. You might not see it around that much in Karachi itself, being a city, but when you go into the interior, you have all these people, men using ajrak for their headdress or as shawls, women using it to carry their kids. I mean, it's used as ceremonial sheet as well, a whole lot of things attached to that. So she has sort of revived that craft, and the whole thing was, it started again with the block printers. It was to try and sustain them, because it was a dying art. She didn't want the thing to completely go off, so it was like giving them work, creating work for them. What we're also doing is, this is a very recent thing that we've started with this group. It's a group of they're women who have made like a community group of other women who are trying to sustain their households, or trying to provide for their households. So they have them coming in and doing embroidery and doing making little craft things, like the bags over there, the newspaper bags. Those are we print the newspapers and we hand it to them, and then these ladies work on making them as finished bags, as well as those envelopes to give the money in for weddings or whatever. It's the little envelopes. We give them the fabric, and then they create these. So again, it's like they are providing, helping the women. Some jewelry on the other side, which is being made in Peshawar and in Afghanistan, that comes in from there. So we've got somebody who's supplying us the jewelry, again all hand made. We've also diversified into other things, the cafe for instance, and an art gallery. This is only about 2 years old, but again, cafe is something where people would come in and love the environment of the courtyard. There was nothing in the courtyard. They would come into the courtyard and say, oh, it would be so nice to just sit down and have a cup of tea here, or just munch on something. We would just, because it's very peaceful and serene once you enter through the doors. It's like you forget everything else behind, away behind you. And so that got us thinking. And then a friend of mine who's in the business as well, and I've done hotel management as well. So we said, okay, let's get into this. So we've got a partner in it for the cafe.
I was struck by the similarity between Koel and Abantu. Noorjehan Bilgrami had created a space that supported traditional crafts, provided sustainable incomes for women, and even had diversified into a cafe.